Kyle Goodman strolled into his high school in a relatively good mood. He was joking with his friends and clowning around when a strange black-haired girl bumped into him. This set off one of his infamous tirades against women. Kyle was very misogynistic as a result of his mother leaving him with his extremely misogynistic father. "Watch where you are going, bitch. Excuse me, show a little respect for others, Kyle. You need to learn more respect for women," Gwendolyn said. She was the new girl with black hair and an eclectic style in dressing. Today she was wearing a diaphanous black gauzy dress. "I will show respect when a woman earns it, but everyone knows men are better." Kyle stomped off and went towards his locker. Kyle was tall, slender with fiery red hair and a slight dusting of freckles. He was running for class president and would win since he was rich and good-looking. He was also arrogant and cocky and very male-chauvinistic in his attitude. He could see no good in women and basically just used them and discarded them. He treated them very badly. Once he got to his locker, Lucy, his locker neighbor, was there and got a good dose of his verbal tirade. "Lucy, why don't you go adjust your makeup? Your face paint is a mess." "I am not wearing any and don't need to." "Why are the majority of men pigs?" Lucy retorted back. She was just as misandrist as Kyle was misogynistic. They had some pretty good verbal sparring with neither seeing the good in the other sex. Neither one noticed that Gwendolyn was nearby. She decided that both of them needed to learn what it was like for the other sex. Kyle needed to know what life was like for a woman, not always being treated the way a human should be treated. Lucy needed to see that some men were decent, caring individuals. She decided to give them a second chance before she would implement her plan. She would give them to prom night, and if they did not change their views before then, she would put her plans in action. Prom was less than a week away. Kyle strode into the auditorium where the prom was being held with his date, Emily Rose Smythe, on his arm. He treated her like the eye candy he believed her to be. She was silently fuming over the treatment and could not believe the amount of disrespect he had for women. She just wanted to get through this evening with the minimal amount of fuss. She regretted her decision to come here with Kyle. She thought that the stories weren't true. He ignored her all evening and left her to her own devices. Gwendolyn observed this behavior from the corner spot she was hiding in. She was wearing a sparkly gown in a decadent gold. Her long raven hair swept up in an elegant chignon. She was disappointed in that Kyle was showing even more bad manners than previously. She smiled to herself, knowing how in a few moments his viewpoint would change. She hoped he would use this to become a better man and learn a valuable lesson. He had to learn that women were just as important as himself. Lucy was just entering the room with football stud Drake Evans on her arm. He was acting all macho and arrogant, or so she thought. Lucy tended to focus her thoughts on the belief that all men were dicks and acted that way. Of course, she usually dated men that were that way, ignoring the nice, kind guys. She, too, was ignoring her date when she wasn't harping on his macho attitude. She, too, was being observed by Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn also hoped that Lucy would learn from the lesson that Gwendolyn had planned for her. She hoped that Lucy would learn that not all men were brutes and that there are good men around, you just have to look for them. Kyle was wearing a pastel blue tuxedo which brought out his sapphire blue eyes. His auburn hair glistened under the lights as he led Emily Rose out onto the dance floor. He figured he would look good on the dance floor with his beautiful date. She wore a gown of lavender. Unfortunately, Kyle viewed her as only eye candy, and that was all she was good for in his opinion. Lucy wore a gown of lemon yellow which billowed gracefully around her svelte legs. Her pale golden hair swept up in an elegant updo. She led Drake out onto the dance floor. She, like Kyle, viewed her date as eye candy. She did not really want to get to know him better, as she viewed him as a typical guy. About midway through the prom, Gwendolyn thought the time was right for her intervention. She walked over to both Kyle and Lucy. You both will learn what it is like to be something you hate. You both have a year to find someone that will treat you with respect to undo this spell. If not, then it will be permanent. I will visit you both later to start it, so enjoy your last moments as you now are. I sincerely hope you both will learn to be more kind, open people and treat others with respect. Kyle started to enter his room, but before switching on the light, he saw something move in the corner of his eye. He quickly switched on the light. He saw Gwendolyn standing there. He was starting to feel anxious as he had dismissed her as being crazy. Hello, Kyle. Are you ready to embrace your new existence for the next year? Please come over to your mirror so that you can see what you are now. Kyle walked over to the mirror. He felt a different sway to his walk. His clothing seemed to move different. He looked into the mirror and stunned. Staring back at him was a familiar face, but it was also all wrong. It was a woman's face. He looked down and noticed his pastel blue tuxedo was now a pastel blue evening gown, which accented his new curves brilliantly. His auburn hair was now in a chignon. There were diamond earrings in his lobes. He also had the thought that he should be referring to himself as a she now. That is right, Kyle, you are now Kylie. In this new reality you were born a girl, everything else is the same as you still live with your misogynistic father and will have to find it in yourself to find all that is beautiful about being a woman. You will now have to experience the monthly visitor. I have also put you on birth control as I don't want you to be stuck as a woman by accident. You now have a choice. If you find you like this body and this life, then just let the year run. If you want to go back to Kyle, then fulfill the conditions of the spell. You have to find a man who will treat you with respect and not be with a man who treats you as you have treated woman. You will be able to access the memories of Kylie to help you throughout your new existence. They will help and guide you on this new journey. I will always be around in case you need some help and guidance. Gwendolyn vanished as soon as she finished her spiel. Kylie then looked around her room. She noticed everything was now different. There was a white canopy bed with lavender bedding. The rest of the furniture was in white wicker. Now there was also a white vanity covered with all kind of makeup. She walked over to her closet and saw all kinds of dresses and skirts, but hardly any trousers. Her walls were now lilac. She decided to get ready for bed. She slipped off the gown and took a good look at her lingerie. She was wearing a sky blue bra which hugged her average size breasts. She noticed that she made an attractive woman. She was average in height and slender. She stripped out of her underwear and looked at her new nude body. She had to get used to the sight of having a mound and a slit now, instead of a penis and scrotum. She got curious as to how the new body felt. She slipped a finger into her vagina and enjoyed the sensations. She caressed her new breasts and nearly screamed with ecstasy. She went over to her dresser, used her new memories to find her nightgowns and slipped on a sheer pink baby doll. She then got into the bed and asleep. Memories of Kyle flashing through her troubled mind. Lucy was about to enter her room when she felt the presence of Gwendolyn there. She switched on the light and felt compelled to view herself in her standing mirror. She walked over to it, noticing that her walk seemed off. Her stride seemed longer and there was no impediment that the long dress should have given. When she got to the mirror, she noticed that she was taller, her hair was now in a shaggy style. Her brows were thicker, her jaw squarer, with a hint of stubble. That was when she realized that she was now a man. She took in her broader shoulders, flatter chest when she noticed her new bigger package. That is right, Lucy, you are now Luke. You still live with your mother who is still bitter against men for what your father did to her. You have a year to decide to stay in this body and life by not fulfill the spell or go back to being Lucy, by learning to be a kind and gentle man and treat a woman with respect. I want you to know that you have memories of being Luke to help you through this new life. You will be able to access them when you need their help. I will also be around should you need my help. Like with Kyle, Gwendolyn vanished. Luke looked down and noticed he was now in a light yellow suit. The jacket emphasized his new broad body. He decided to get undressed, so he removed the suit. He noticed now he only had on a pair of bikini briefs which emphasized his new penis. He lowered the briefs to get a better look. He was slightly above average in size. He went to his dresser and put on a clean pair of briefs and a pair of pajamas. He noticed that his room now took on a more masculine appearance. There were sexy posters of bikini-clad women around his room. He got into his new bed and dreamed of being Lucy. "Get up, girl, and get my breakfast ready. Don't forget you have a lot of household chores to do. After all, you are a woman and have to take care of my house." Kylie tried to shut out the drone of her father's yelling. She knew she was going to have a hard time now, knowing how her father was before, and now she was what her father felt was inferior. She got out of bed and made it to her shower, to get the sleep out of her system. Showering as a woman was more erotic than as a man. The water hitting her breasts was giving her sensations she never felt before. She thought shaving her legs was hard. She had hoped that last night was a dream. "I have to do what I can to get back to being me again," she thought to herself. After her shower, she threw on a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt as she felt she had a lot of work to do and did not want to take care of her appearance. She walked out to the kitchen to get her father's breakfast ready. "What are you doing trying to like a boy? Do you think you are worthy enough to look like the better sex?" "I don't think so. Go back and get dressed like the woman you are, dress or skirt, and for goodness put some makeup on. I don't want to look at your face like that. Then you can do your chores and leave me alone." Kylie's fears came true. Her father was mean, abusive, and ignoring her, just like he did when Kylie was Kyle. "I can't wait to go back to school Monday," Kylie muttered to herself as she served her father breakfast. She then went back to her room and got dressed like her father wanted, or she would be punished. She went on autopilot and let Kylie's memories take over so that she could make up her face like her father wanted. Then she spent the rest of the day accomplishing her chores. She cleaned the house from top to bottom, and Sunday was the same. Finally, Monday came and she got ready for her first day at school. She got dressed in a plain skirt and blouse and tied her hair in a ponytail. She wore minimal makeup per school regulations. She went out to wait for her bus. "Looks like the rich girl is condescending to ride the bus with us." "Yeah, stuck-up bitch." Kylie lowered her head in shame. "I so have to change my life around," she thought to herself. As the bus took her off to school, she was lost in her thoughts. "What is that stiffness I feel down in my crotch?" Luke thought to himself before he realized he had what he heard other guys mention as morning wood. He looked down to see a nice size pole sticking up. "How do I get rid of this annoying thing? I miss being a girl so much. I hope I can get back to being one." He accidentally touched the pole and noticed the wonderful sensations coursing through his body. He kept up stroking until he felt it twitch and release this white goo. Yuck, what a mess. Being a guy is just so messy and annoying. He got out of bed and went into the shower. Showering with his new body was an experience he wanted to forget. First off, shaving a face is way different than shaving legs. Second, all that ugly body hair all over his body. Yuck. Then washing his penis, and it getting hard again. Don't that thing ever stop? Luke got dressed in jeans and a sweatshirt. He quick combed his hair and went out to the kitchen. His mother was there and she shot him a nasty look. Why did I have to be stuck with a male pig as a son? Why couldn't I have a daughter? Go do something useful, like some of the yard work. That is all that a man is good for. Just as Luke feared, his mother had no use for him and would spout a lot of misanthropic statements. Luke was starting to get an understanding of how the guys she badmouthed felt. He spent all weekend doing all the chores his mother told him to do. On Monday, he got dressed in khakis and went out to the bus stop. There all the girls flirted with him, trying to get his attention. Kylie walked into the school, suddenly aware of all the guys staring at her new body. I am glad I wore a longer skirt. Is this how it felt to girls when I was staring at them? She walked to her locker, which happened to be the same locker as when she was Kyle. She looked at her class schedule that was taped in her locker and noticed a lot of changes. She had less advanced academic classes, and most of those were more language-based and English classes and less math and science. Also, she now had home economics, and she feared that was geared to making her a housewife for a future husband. I still want to go to college and have a career. Why should I just be some guy's trophy? Then she finally realized that this was the role she forced on her girlfriends when she was Kyle. How could I have been such a jerk? I got to go back to being Kyle, but I will change my past behavior and hope it is not too late to start anew. She grabbed her books for her first class, then went to homeroom. As she made her way there, she was very mindful of the eyes following her. It slightly creeped her out. At the same time she was doing this, Luke was strutting into the school. He was surrounded by his mates, who wanted to talk about the girls they were dating and what they were willing to do. Luke did not like how they referred to women and told them off. Luke decided that he would try not to be like a jerk he used to feel all men were, but he was afraid that that witch's spell was going to make him be that guy. He decided that he would learn to be a guy but also treat women with respect and not as objects. He left his friends and went on to his locker. He checked his class schedule and noticed more masculine classes than he had before as Lucy. He grabbed his books and went to homeroom. There are some pluses to being a man, but these harsher fabrics have got to go. Kylie did not have much problems until she got to home EC. She foolishly decided to not let her girl memories take over and almost destroyed the kitchen when she let the blender explode all over the place. She almost got her wish and was kicked out of the class, but the school policy was that all girls had to take the class. As Kylie was leaving, she bumped into Kevin, captain of the football team. He made up his mind that Kylie was going to be his latest conquest. Are you doing anything Saturday night? No, I am free. Why? Would you like to go out to the movies? Sure, I will pick you up at 7. I will be waiting. Goodbye. See you Saturday, babe. He left her standing there wondering if she made a mistake. Luke left his last class when he noticed Serena, one of the head cheerleaders, walking towards him. He got nervous and tongue-tied. He also felt a stirring in his groin. Not now. How do guys put up with this thing? Serena, would you like to go to the movies Saturday? That would be lovely. Pick me up at 7. She gave him her address and phone and left. Saturday night arrived. Kylie was in her bedroom putting on the finishing touches to her makeup. She smoothed out her light blue skirt and navy top. She dressed casual but nice as she wanted to make a good first impression on her first date as a girl. She was nervous about it and prayed that Kevin would not be a jerk like Kyle used to be. She heard the doorbell and heard her father say, "So you are going to take the bitch out?" Kylie cringed. How could a father call his own daughter a bitch? Yes, sir, I am here to take you beautiful daughter out on a date. How could you call her that? I wanted a son, this is a man's world. I did not want a girly, feminine child. At least she could have been more a tomboy and I would not have minded her being a girl. You are a misogynistic bastard. Call her down and we will leave before I punch your lights out. Kylie rushed down the stairs. Kevin ushered her out of the door and down to his car. He held the door open for her as she entered the car, careful not to wrinkle her skirt. He drove them to the movie theater. Luke put on a dark green pair of corduroys and a flannel shirt. He thought he looked cool and masculine. There were some aspects of being a male that were nice. Like how quick you could get dressed, but there were other parts that the Lucy part of him cringed over. Erections for one, she did not understand how males thought they were great, she found them disgusting. The Luke part took over so that he could finish up dressing so he could go pick up Serena. He went down the stairs and told his mother that he was going on a date. That's fine, don't be a prick though. I will treat her like a lady. Why do you assume I am going to be a bastard just because I am a male? Because all men are pricks and think with their dick is why. Luke left before he called his mother all kind of nasty names. He got into his car and drove over to Serena's house. He climbed up the steps to her front door and rang the bell. Her father answered. How can I help you, son? I am here to pick up your daughter and take her to the movies. I will have her back home as soon as the movie is over. Thank you, son. Serena, your date is here. Serena answered her father as she was coming down the stairs. She was eager to go out with Luke as she viewed him as a great catch. Luke escorted her to his car and helped her in, treating her like a lady. He drove them to the movies. Kevin and Kylie arrived at the multiplex and were trying to decide on a movie. Kevin wanted an action flick and Kylie wanted to see a chick flick. They finally settled on Clerks. I hear this is funny, Kevin said. Kylie agreed and so they went in. Serena and Luke arrived and they agreed quickly that they both wanted to see Clerks. They walked into the lobby and bumped into Kevin and Kylie. Luke felt an immediate attraction to Kylie and she felt the same to Luke. When the movie was over, the two couples met in the lobby and decided to go to the local ice cream shop for some ice cream. Luke asked Kylie for a dance after putting a quarter in the jukebox. Kylie accepted and felt at ease in his arms. Kyle felt that this was different than what he was used to when he was the man in the relationship. He did kind of like being guided, but he was hoping to meet a man who would treat him with respect so he could go back to his previous life, but with one major change, he no longer viewed women as objects and he vowed he would treat them better. Lucy also felt that it was different being the man and guiding a girl around the dance floor. She felt the power that men had, but she vowed she was not going to treat a woman like an object since she hated that she was treated that way. She also could not wait for the spell to end so that she could go back to being herself. She too vowed that she would not assume the worst in men and that there are some nice guys around. Meanwhile, Kevin asked Serena for a dance. He loved the feeling of having her in his muscular arms. He felt an attraction to her and was willing to see how far it would lead. Monday morning, Luke approached Kylie at her locker as she was getting her books for her first class. I had a lot of fun dancing with you on Saturday. Would you like to go out on a date with me? Sure, I would love to. I had great fun with you. I sense a kindred spirit with you. Same here. How about tomorrow night I take you out to dinner? That would be lovely. I will pick you up at 7 and dress fancy. Fine, I will see you then. Kylie was planning what to wear when she decided she didn't have a dress fancy enough. She decided to go to the mall once school was finished. She started to walk down the hall while listening to the catcalls from the cocky males. She thought to herself, so this is how I was like when I was doing that. I promise to never make someone feel as small as I feel right now. I never realized how hard it is for women to go through this as often as they do. I will not treat someone like that anymore when I am back to being Kyle. Kylie learned several lessons on being a woman. She learned that periods are not fun to go through. She now had to take longer to get ready for everything. Putting on makeup took a lot of time, also styling your hair. Putting on all the fancy lingerie also took time. She missed how easy it was to get dressed as a male. Luke, meanwhile, was planning which suit to wear. He also felt that Kylie was special. He felt a tingle in his groin when he was with her. He wanted her to be his steady girlfriend and would treat her accordingly. Tuesday night came. Kylie was dressed in a black and gold dress she bought yesterday. It suited her very well. She also bought matching shoes. She was just finishing sweeping her curls in an elegant hairdo when she heard the doorbell. She prayed that her father would not be an asshole, but she knew that was a given. Luke's introduction to her father was a repeat of last Saturday. Luke decided to take Kylie out to an exclusive restaurant. He wanted the date to be special as he was falling in love with her. She was a beautiful woman who was confident in herself. In fact, she reminded him of Lucy, but not as resentful of men. After dinner, Luke asked Kylie if she wanted to go for a walk in the rose gardens that were in full bloom. Kylie agreed and they strolled off. Luke, I am enjoying being with you. You are a wonderful guy. Kylie thought to herself that Luke was how she should have been when she was Kyle. Kylie, I too am enjoying being with you. You are a perfect lady. They strolled along, enjoying the sights and smells of the rose garden. The magic of the garden taking its toll on the two blooming lovebirds. Each one wondering if they were closer to being a couple and if that would change after they changed back. They didn't know the answer to the question, besides they didn't even know if they were close to breaking the spell. Luke took Kylie into his strong, muscular arms and softly caressed her slender shoulders. Kylie moaned and encouraged him to go further. Luke reached in for a kiss, nothing but a gentle lover's kiss. Kylie let him approach and place his lips on hers. It was a truly magical moment. Kyle took his lips from Lucy's. He asked her for another date and she said yes.